Welcome back to the Rhody Impact Podcast. I'm your host, Connor Lewis. Today, we're here with Coach Ryan Sullivan, the women's volleyball team here at URI. Coach, can you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. Like you said, Ryan Sullivan, born and raised in the suburbs of Chicago, Illinois. Just started here in July, and excited to be a Ram.
Well, Coach, thank you for being here. I promise I won't take too much of your time.
I
know it's early in the morning.
Yeah.
Are you good? Are you ready? Are you hyped for this?
I'm hyped. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I took my dog for a walk. It's a little rainy, but
I know he was late. I don't know.
He survived, so
that's
it's
good.
all right.
I know it's like I have 3 dogs myself.
Yeah.
They can be tough sometimes.
Yeah. I got a 130-pound Great Dane named Dennis.
Goodness.
Named after Dennis Rodman. Go Bulls. So,
that's incredible.
Yeah.
That might be the best fun fact about anybody ever.
There you go. Happy. I got plenty, so I'm happy to spew them.
Yeah, 100%. We'll get into that at the end.
Cool.
Well, let's just jump right into questions if that's good with you.
All good.
So, you didn't always coach at URI, obviously. You coached at UNH before this? Do I have that right?
Yeah, I was there for 3 years.
So, what are some of the lessons you learned there that you kind of brought over to here in your time coaching so far?
Yeah, so in my entire coaching career, I've kind of been formulating a defensive strategy and blocking system, and at UNH were really successful with that. Started off when I was at Villanova, and I've taken to a couple different places, but mainly what I wanted to bring from UNH and something that they picked up really well was just the way that they communicate with each other. We run a very specific blocking system and defensive system, and I think with enough practice, our team is going to be really good at it.
Well, this is a good interview because I've coached like baseball coaches, softball coaches. I don't really know anything about those sports. I do know about volleyball, so this is I'm like understanding what you're saying. So it's not just like right.
So you actually have a volleyball background. What where are you from? What do you play?
I went to LaSalle, so I've been playing volleyball. Yeah.
At LaSalle.
Yeah.
So I play with Boston.
No, LaSalle Academy. It's just a school in Providence High School, and then now I go to Rhode Island College. So
of course.
I've played for 5 years. I'm a middle. I'm 6'7", so that'll do it.
Yeah.
And right side, left.
If you want to play some beach, let's go. I need a tall partner, so I don't have to.
Absolutely, yeah. Let me know. All right, we'll set that up. But cool. Yeah, so I have good experience with volleyball. So I do know what you're talking about when you're talking about blocking systems and all that. So I guess that kind of brings me to my next question. What are some of those coaching philosophies you like to bring to your team, mentally, physically, as far as practice goes, all that? Give me the works.
Sure. So my biggest coaching philosophy, I don't need our team to be best friends, but you need to respect each other. And multiple different locations that I've been, we've been culture building, and that's exactly what we're doing here. But the main philosophy thing that I bring is, it's an intangible thing. I want our team to, rather than loving to win, I want them to hate to lose. I want them to expect to win. And that kind of, that sort of mentality. It's tough for a team, especially a team that hasn't won a lot in the past, to learn. And so just the way that we do it is by supporting each other. We have a big sister, little sister program on our team, and anything to make the young ones feel comfortable and the older ones learn how to be mentors for their younger sisters on their team. So I think while loving to win is great, I think personally some of my biggest losses are the ones that are the most memorable for me. And so that desire, that passion to not experience a loss again is what drives me personally. And I want our team to get to a point where we expect to win every single match. It doesn't matter if we're playing, a top 25 opponent or a bottom 300 opponent. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So I guess on the topic of that, when it comes to wins and losses, obviously volleyball is about wins and losses. You have to win 3 sets in order to get the win, obviously.
Yep.
But other than that, how do you separate like team success from just standard wins and losses?
Kind of the culture building question again. And so what we did this past season is we like to create set attainable goals for our team. For example, last year our first goal was just win 1 game. But whether it be different statistical metrics, like if our outsides want to hit a certain clip or blockers get a certain amount of touches in the game, we want to create goals that our team can attain, experience what it feels like to attain those goals, and then kind of like set another farther goal. Whatever our actual potential is, we want to raise that. We want to raise our peak potential, and a lot of intangible things like I'm talking about are the way to do that.
Yeah. So as far as just coaching role models go, Who were those role models for you? It doesn't have to be volleyball, but anyone.
It's a good question. So my mother was actually a coach.
Okay.
So back in Illinois, she was a boys' high school coach, and I always kind of joke with people. Once I exited the womb, I was in a gym. I had a chance to watch her and her counterpart for years when I was growing up. I learned how to jump serve in second grade. Like I watched how they instilled culture into their teams, made them do push-ups for certain things, and it's really cool to be able to see that camaraderie. And obviously now she's our biggest fan, and she is somebody that I call all the time just to talk about the team. And so she's definitely a role model. And then outside of volleyball, I'm a Chicago guy. Like Phil Jackson, he's the man. He's the Zen master. I'm a psychology major in college, and I just really enjoy about Phil how he manages personalities. I told you already, Dennis is my dog name, right? Like to manage Dennis Rodman, you need to be a certain kind of crazy yourself, right? Yeah. And so that whole team with the abundance of personality that they had on the team, him finding a way to accommodate to each player and what each player needs to raise their actual potential, like I'm discussing, I think is really interesting, and his books are awesome. I would highly recommend them.
I've read the I think it's just the one about the Lakers.
Yeah,
I don't know. It wasn't the Bulls one, but I should read the Bulls one though. I'm sure.
There's a few, and I'm actually reading 11 Rings right now. And
that's it. I think it was 11 Rings actually. Now that I'm thinking about it.
More Than a Game is one of his first ones, and it kind of talks about Tex Winter and like the triangle system and just how he got his philosophy going. But it's all great reads. It's all interesting, and I'm all about Phil Jackson, man.
Can I ask you a Bulls question? I know it's a little off topic. We're talking about volleyball, but
I'll always talk about the Bulls. It's all good.
So I don't know when you were born. Were you alive for all 6 championships?
Or? I was alive, yeah. I was born in the 1980s.
Okay.
I was born in 89. So I was young when the first championships happened, but I remember the second three-peat.
Did you have like a favorite, I guess is my question?
Favorite player?
No, like favorite championship, because favorite player, I mean.
Yeah, the one that I remember the most is probably the one against the Seattle Supersonics. I just remember sitting in my cousin's house in Wisconsin, and the whole family's just like crowded around the TV. And obviously the 98 one against the Jazz with the final shot, the last second pull-up.
Oh, you watched that?
Yeah, I was alive for that.
God, so lucky.
Yeah, but I mean, Last Dance is awesome, and I think that's if you don't know about the Bulls, you should watch The Last Dance. Oh my God,
The Last Dance. Yeah, if you haven't seen, I don't know, everyone's seen The Last Dance. It came out during the pandemic. Yeah. I think everybody watched it. My mother watched it. She does not watch the NBA ever.
Yeah.
I think my grandfather, he's never watched sports in his life. He was watching that. It's like everyone was in that.
It's good. Gets me juiced. I've watched it 100 times.
Yeah, it does get me juiced. So let's just get back to volleyball, because I feel like I didn't talk about basketball all day, so I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. No, it's all right. I mean, my next dog, I'll find a different Bulls name or something for my next dog.
Steve Kerr.
There you go. Right.
But anyway, to get back to volleyball, I know we talked about, like, obviously you just opened up the transfer portal and their NIL. I know that stuff kind of early for you, but has it really affected you at all yet, or not really? You're still kind of...
So in the sense of affecting, yeah, of course. I mean, it's going to affect everybody. You're seeing, more transfers now than you've seen any time, obviously. We already added one transfer in McKenna from Marshall, and she's hit the ground running. She came for us in the spring, and we're going to be looking in May transfer portal again for some more players. But I just think it's the culture of NCAA athletics now. You're like, while it's good for the teams to be able to pick and choose who they want, it's great for the athlete. I mean, if you're not in a place that, you're happy, I always tell our recruits, like, if you want to come to Rhode Island, if volleyball wasn't a thing, would you still be happy here?
Yeah.
And, if the athletic side isn't, up to par, you still go to class, you still have to see the sun or not, or the ocean or not, but, you always just want to be happy and not just choose something just for athletic. So I think it's both a positive and a struggle. Like you want the flexibility, you want the ability to go to where you want to go, but my biggest thing in teaching a culture is I want people that want to be here. I want to, people to rise above kind of the easy path out. The easy path being like, okay, I'll just enter the transfer portal again and go find somewhere else. A lot of life lessons that I've learned were having to struggle and earn my spot through a team. And, I think, everyone's path is their own, so I'm not going to sit here and criticize when people want to go into the transfer portal or not. And we're extremely happy to have McKenna already. She's fit in really well with our team, and our culture is in a really good spot right now.
Well, I guess as far as recruiting goes, I think we should just ask this question.
Okay.
How do you compare a great, talented player to a great team player? Is there a difference to you, or is it just kind of all in one and the same?
Certainly a difference. That's a great question. The way that we learn about a lot of players we call it fishing. When we're out at a tournament, we'll just go to random courts and see if anyone's talented and kind of throw a line in the water, right? Or we wait for somebody to email us. We get hundreds of emails a day from seniors, juniors, sophomores, and younger even with their highlight videos. And so a flashy highlight video is great. It's like, I always tell people, you want an attention grabber. You want something short where it shows your skill, but kind of like you're mentioning, there are some deeper qualities that you have to find. So the hard part about that is a lot of time you're watching raw, uncut film. And so you have to sit and watch, how are they interacting with their teammates? What do they do when the ball's not in their hands? How do they move? That sort of thing. When I'm recruiting in person, I watch how they talk to their parents. I watch how they talk to their coaches. Yeah. So after a game, do you run over to your mom and say, hey, can you go DoorDash me a Starbucks real quick? Or are you talking something out with your teammates or your coach? When your coach is talking to you, are you giving them eye contact? Are you showing them respect? Are you showing your teammates respect? I think the easiest thing to pick out is when somebody throws their bag to their mom, for example.
Does that happen a lot?
It does. Honestly, it really does.
Man,
and so, even for the highest caliber athletes, that's obviously a red flag for us. We want people that, and sometimes with those qualities, those can be taught into somebody. You can learn maturity. But I just find that, if you show respect to the people around you in all areas, that really coincides with, being a team player, kind of like you're saying.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting because a lot of coaches, I've asked a few coaches about that, and a lot of them say how they react to their parents and how they talk to their parents. So I guess that's just a common theme. I didn't even know coaches look into that, I guess, is my point. Because I was a high school student just last year.
Yeah.
Getting recruited by D3 schools.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I never really thought about it. I was nice to my mom. I can't speak for all my teammates, but
there you go.
I just think it's interesting that a lot of coaches are looking out for that.
Yeah, I think obviously you want to get on coach's radar, but by being athletic, you want to show your skills and that sort of thing. But the hardest part for coaches recruiting-wise is just, can you find some red flags or even orange, yellow flags that kind of let you know that, hey, this might be a challenge with a certain individual.
I understand. Well, when it comes to, because you watch a lot of film as a coach, obviously for recruits, but also for opposing teams.
Love it.
What are the things you're looking out for on opposing teams? That those key aspects you're looking out for to let your team know that, hey, we got to watch out for this girl.
Yeah, that's a good question as well, and that's a really involved one. I think the first thing that we look at is, how do they score points? I think in the game of volleyball, this is going to sound super obvious, right? The team that gets to 25 first wins.
Some people don't even know that, though.
Yeah,
so honestly, you might have to just say that anyway.
Yeah, so, are they scoring points from a certain position? Are they scoring points from their block? Are they scoring points from the service line? And then also, where are they weak? Where are our opponents scoring points on them?
Right.
And, I try not to hone in on specific players too much. There's shot charts that you can look at to see where attackers are consistently going. I was a setter in my background, and same with Marissa, my assistant. And so we like to look at how the setters deal the offense, how good the serve receive is at keeping them in system, and what sort of trends do they have when they're out of system. We like to pride ourselves on being a very tough service and defensive team. And if we're putting pressure on the other team from the service line and they can't get in system, it just allows our block to set up, and usually leads to a lot of good block touches and transition and that sort of thing.
Okay. When it comes to practice, what is the thing you focus on most? Because personally, in high school, and my high school coach is now my club coach actually for college.
Cool.
Is there something you focus on specifically? We focus on serve receive a lot. So is it like that? Is it something specific? I know you talk about defense and serving a lot, but
yeah. So we've been really honing in on our serve receive a lot this spring. But I think systematically. about 70% of the game is out of system. Out of system meaning the ball isn't going to the net, to the setter where you have 3 attackers ready to play.
Yeah.
Most of the game, you're just getting it up high, as you know, and getting a high ball to a pin. And so we want to be comfortable in those situations. We practice ball control for all players. I think one of the main struggles in the country now is, not simplifying, but like putting players into a box. You being tall, only practicing blocking or attacking with you and not giving you any defense or ball control work. I want all of my players to develop as volleyball players. And I find that, as ball control increases, confidence increases. And, if our middles can hit a high ball, if our liberos know what our middles are going to do on the block, it just makes everything fall into place that much easier. So I like training all around players, and we're going to start recruiting internationally. Their ball control is outstanding.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hopefully we'll get some more international players here soon.
Yeah, 100%. Now, I don't know. I'm sure you know about how they're trying to get rid of the double touch rule.
Yeah, so last year was the first year of that.
It is? Okay.
Being out. And so just, I've always been for it.
Really? Okay.
As a setter, a lot of people think or claim that it takes away from the integrity of the game. I think setting is still skill based. I think if you chunk a set, where if you double a set and it comes out ugly, the likelihood of it still being a good set, I don't think is very good.
Right.
So letting the play resume, I think if the other team, stops, that's on them. Play it all the way through. Usually if it's a bad set, the defense is in an advantageous position. So go execute is my opinion. I think that it allows for longer rallies. It allows for more people to be confident and try to set. And still, when you send the ball over the net, you can't double it. So it's if it's the first or second contact and it stays on your side, it's allowed. And I honestly think it's just going to continue raising the excitement of the game. I think the faster the rallies are, the less the officials get involved, the more the players can win it out on the court. And I think that'll be beneficial for the whole product.
That's an interesting perspective, honestly. I haven't really heard much of that perspective, I guess.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people are very against it.
They are.
I'm not in that body.
Interesting. Well, to wrap it up.
Sure.
I usually do this thing. I spring it on you. You already gave me a fun fact, but I spring it on all of my interviewees.
Okay.
Can you give me another fun fact about yourself? It doesn't have to be volleyball related, but just about yourself in general.
Oh, man.
You can give me a few if you want. You do what you want.
I'm a big music guy. I think the only type of music I'm not in love with is country music.
Okay.
There are certain...
You strike me as a country guy, but that's
really?
interesting. A little bit. It might be the hair. Honestly, it may be the hair. Yeah.
No, right now I'm really into rock for this spring. I think there's a certain song for every vibe. But I still love going to music festivals. Lollapalooza in Chicago is one of my favorite things. Yeah. And yep. I have to deal with the music that our girls play at times, but you know what? If that's how they feel.
Are they bumping Sabrina Carpenter? I don't even know what they're playing.
They're doing Sabrina Carpenter. They're doing Chappell Roan.
Oh, okay, okay.
However you pronounce it. I think I'm cool with whatever they want to play. I think music is great for anybody, and however you feel, there's a song for every vibe. And so if they're feeling a certain way, go ahead and blast it, kid.
I like that. Okay. Well, Coach, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah.
I hope it wasn't too much of a chore for you.
No, it's not a chore. Next time I'll dress up a little bit more.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. I'm just wearing jeans. It's no big deal. But again, Coach, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time with us.
Yeah, man.
And thank you all for watching. I've been your host, Connor Lewis, signing off.
Go Rhody.